Every week, a new band. Brought to you by NZ On Air. Active Live! Yeah.
No mai haere mai. Welcome to the Active Live room here on radioactive.fm, with thanks, of course, going out to our friends at NZ On Air Music. Today, joining me today, we have the one and only Millie Moon. Kia ora, thanks for being here.
Kia ora, thank you for having me.
Lovely to have you here. And I know it's cheeky to ask, but I have to ask, did you walk here?
I did, actually. Yes.
I had a feeling you might have, because you're a big fan of walking.
I'm quite a big fan of walking these days, yeah.
Oh, amazing. Hey, it's so great to have you here. Thanks for being here. Your show, Walking Songs, was a highlight of the 2023 Fringe Festival here in Te Whanganui-a-Tara. Can you tell us a bit, to start, about the show? What was it like? What inspired you to write it? Where did it all come from?
Well, a big old hikoi, a big old walk inspired me to write it, yeah. I came home from Australia to Aotearoa, and what better way to connect and to work through some things than to start walking. So I walked Te Araroa, New Zealand's long pathway. So it goes from Cape Reinga to Motupohe Bluff. And yeah, it took me about 4.5 months to walk it on my own. And along the way, as I say in the show, I wrote songs and stories to the rhythm of my broken heart and my walking feet. Oh. So I kind of came to the end and I had this unexpected body of work, and I thought I couldn't just let it sit there. So in wondering what I was going to do with it, Fringe came up, and yeah, it was an amazing platform to force me to put this work together into a show and yeah, present it here last February.
That is just incredible. Congratulations on completing what is no small feat at all. How did you first hear about this walk that goes across the Motu, and what drew you to it in the first place? Why was walking the thing that you were sort of like, that's what I need to do when I come home?
It's a loaded question. I actually heard about it many years ago through a podcast I listened to called The Long Way Home. And so I'd thought about it. It kind of been something that was of interest to me for a long time. And I'd done a fair bit of walking and hiking and just like wild living in Australia for the 12 years that I lived there. I walked across Tasmania and I spent a lot of time in the Queensland bush. So it was pandemic for a start when I escaped one of the massive lockdowns in Melbourne. And also I had left my everything. I'd left my home, my marriage. I made the bravest choice of my life to make the biggest change of my life. And so this was just the perfect opportunity and the perfect timing to take that space for healing and to do that walk. Yeah.
Gosh, that is just incredible. I really appreciate the leap of faith that you took in that moment. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
What do you think, and there's probably a few of them, so you're welcome to go into them in general, but what do you think the biggest learning experience you had in this walk was?
I think I'm going to touch on something I talked to some people about yesterday. So I've started as a part of the development of this project, having conversations and sharing stories with people with the idea of being able to see each other and each other's experiences, no matter how different our lives or our sort of outlooks might be. I think one of the big things that came up for me and that I talked about last night with these strangers was this sense of expansion of self, this sense of like facing something that you think you can't do or that you're afraid to do, being afraid and doing it anyway, and then finding out on the other side that actually you were perfectly capable of doing it and the fear was the only thing really in your way. So that's a big one for me, finding expansion of self through facing something that I was really afraid of and doing it anyway.
That's beautiful. I think that's kind of, that's a situation and a concept that a lot of people can resonate with.
I think so, in a lot of different ways, yeah. I mean, we all know what fear is, be it a huge fear or just a little nervousness. I mean, like right now, this is not exactly comfortable, but it's really good for us, I think, in all sorts of situations to, instead of letting that fear or that discomfort of that unknown experience stop us, but to actually go, hey, I've got this opportunity to do this, even though I'm terrified, and I'm going to do it and see how it expands me as a person.
That's beautiful. I think there's a universal truth to the idea that fear is something you need to overcome. I think a lot of the world sees that in their day-to-day, all the way up to kind of the big experiences that we have in life. I think that's beautiful that you take that on as a
I think
mantra.
I think it's finding intimacy with fear instead of like like you say, treating it like something to overcome, making friends with it rather.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. And I'm very excited to hear the tunes that, kind of cover those sorts of concepts. What have we got today first?
The first one actually has come from this beautiful place. So another thing that came up for me walking was definitely reconnecting with home and what home is after leaving what was my home, and sort of starting again. And I keep coming back to Te Whanganui-a-Tara and loving it here and feeling at home here, no matter how long it is that I've been away. So this little song actually came out of coming back to Wellington. Yeah.
Beautiful. Wellington loves having you here too. Let's hear it. I'm excited.
Build me a house, batten and board, fill all the shelves, and put rugs on the floor, and stoke up the fire in months of cold, paint on the front door, welcome home. Pack me a bag, hound at my heel, feet on the track, scrounge every meal, sleep under stars, dance under moon, happy my heart when I'm with you. Oh, where is my home? Wild and free I roam out on the road. Oh, where is my home? If it won't have me, will you take me on? Oh, where is my home? Where I am now, oh, where I was born. Oh, where is my home? Where the empty spaces fill up with song. This is where I belong. Glistening street, cleansed in new rain, windy city, you hold me again. Bright lights and bustle and company alone. Music in the air sings welcome home. Sit me at wheel, driving for days. Oh, don't you feel there could be better ways? Never you'll find me with picket fence goals. Home is in destruction, movement and song. Oh, where is my home? Wild and free I roam out on the road. Oh, where is my home? If it won't have me, will you take me on? Oh, where is my home? Where I am now, oh, where I was born. Oh, where is my home? Where the empty spaces fill up with song. Where the empty spaces fill up with song. Where the empty spaces fill up with song. This is where I belong.
Gosh, that was just gorgeous. Thank you. For those of you just joining us, we have the wonderful Millie Moon here with us in the Active Live room today. And I loved that. The conversation of home and the concept of home is a really interesting one, and something that I've seen you touch on in a few different spaces. In particular, I love the quote you bring up from Brene Brown, talking about, and I'll quote it here for you, true belonging is a personal commitment that we carry in our hearts. And you use this to describe your sense of home. Can you explain how that quote describes the sense of home for you?
I think it's because I really struggled with a sense of home being a place. And although I've had moments both here and abroad where I've felt at home or felt a sense of belonging and connection to land and to space, I'm quite a transient person, and I don't necessarily have a place that feels like home. So for me, home is in senses. So home is in the smell of eucalypt or the sight of harakeke in bloom. Home is in a certain feeling that I get. And so that quote for me is exactly that. It's home being something that's a commitment to myself, something that I carry in a sense of self. Yeah.
That's stunning. And I think that really touches on true belonging is about you and your internal monologue and dialogue as opposed to the external factors that kind of influence you.
And
That's
it might be
beautiful.
external factors for you, and that's just as powerful. But I think it's important to feel like it's part of yourself as well.
Gorgeous. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, I read that quote on your wonderful Indiegogo campaign, allowing people to be part of your solo art journey. Can you tell us a bit about that campaign and how people can help you on this journey?
I can. I always feel awkward about it.
Hey, I'm inviting you to do so.
I know, and I appreciate it so much. I've had so much incredible support, and I'm so grateful for it. But it is a hard thing to put yourself out there and to be like, hey, contribute, be a part of it. I'm worth it, I promise.
Definitely is. But it seems like you've got some really cool things that people will get in return for helping you too.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. I would really like this project to develop as collaboratively as possible. So I love the idea of having conversations with people, and like I was saying, like finding where these stories connect in different ways to different people, but under a same sort of feeling or experience. So yeah, contributing to the Indiegogo campaign is helping me to develop past the Fringe festivals. So I'm doing Edinburgh Fringe and Melbourne Fringe with this Walking Songs show. I've already started recording the songs, and I'd like to record the stories as well, so that I can release these stories and songs to people, to contributors particularly, to listen back and to connect with those stories and songs. Maybe even to like contribute to what those stories mean to them, to share their own stories. And I'm also going to do a film version of the show for those people who are interested but can't see it. You might want to pop $5 in and get a copy of the film.
Beautiful. Oh, I love that. And that's important from an accessibility perspective too, because going overseas is awesome. But, you know, for people who missed your show in the Fringe this year, it's really awesome they'll get a chance to see it filmed.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to chat about all those different things you just mentioned. But first off, Melbourne. You're heading there for the Fringe Festival. You're going to be performing this show there. You were involved in creative projects in Melbourne for around 10 years. Can you tell us about your time in that scene and what you've kind of learned from that?
I've learned a lot. I mean, yeah, it was about 10 years gigging as front woman for my band Winter Moon. And then I've worked in studio and sessioning for various other acts, live and in recording. I guess the biggest thing I learned was stagecraft, being on stage, letting go of ego and being able to be up the front, entertaining people, but with sincerity. Because, yeah, it's pretty constant when you're in that sort of rock soul scene, trying to gig, trying to constantly, like, put your name out there, get music out there. It's pretty full on time. Yeah. It's a lot of fun, though.
It really is that too. And I think that's a really important thing, the kind of integrity that comes with the, you know, the social contract you have with an audience when you are a front person. Can you tell us a bit about the kind of biggest differences you've noticed between performing with your band Winter Moon and performing as a solo act?
I think it's even more genuine. I think I have a chance stripping right back and telling my songs singing my songs as stories. It's an even closer opportunity to connect with audience, I think. It's just as fun. It's just as creatively satisfying. But yeah, it's more intimately connected with audience, which I really love. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That connection with the audience is a really profound thing in general, I think. You know, there's nothing quite like it, eh?
Well, we don't get to do what we do with our audience. I don't think audience get credit enough. You know, like a bar doesn't get people in paying for drinks, and the sound engineer doesn't have a job, and us creatives don't get to share the things that we have this constant drive to create if an audience doesn't play a part in allowing us that space. So, yeah, it's incredibly important.
That's so true. The symbiosis between the two is so important. I totally agree. And good on you for acknowledging that too, because I think a lot of people can kind of get lost in the noise of it all, if you know what I mean,
for
lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
And Winter Moon are not the only band that you've sort of taken part in. You've worked with a whole bunch of cool people like the Dead Amigos, Elacore and Jack the Crow, to name a few. How did you juggle being part of such varied projects, and what did you find kind of the most challenging about being involved in so many different things?
I don't know that there was really a juggle. It all feels like a bit of a blessing, really.
Beautiful.
To be invited to make music with people, to be invited to collaborate, to be wanted, like for your voice, your sound to be wanted as a part of these amazing projects. It's a total blessing. There's no juggling. I'm just there. Yes.
I love that. Positivity is real in this interview today. Beautiful. Those of you who just joined us, we've got the wonderful Millie Moon in studio with us here for Active Live. And I think we should do another song, if that's okay with you.
Let's do it.
Wonderful. What have we got coming up?
I've got a little song called Little Hearts.
Little Hearts. Beautiful. Looking forward to it.
You lay down your comfort like lead smudged under palm, like your neck under mine. The less we said, the more we meant it, like your skin on mine. They're just a child pretending to be grown and safe from harm, like nothing else exists but time, like little hearts built for expanding with a whisper and a sigh. Like your skin on mine. Like little hearts built for expanding with a whisper and a sigh.
Absolutely stunning. Thank you so much, Millie. That was just gorgeous.
Thank you.
And that was the first chance I've had to meet Auntie Lena.
Auntie Lena.
Auntie Lena, very excited to meet them. Beautiful little ukulele there. Can you tell us about why ukulele is the performance instrument of your choice? And, I mean, obviously, apart from your beautiful vocals, and how you came to meet Auntie Lena?
Ooh, you want the proper story?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Lay it on us.
Queensland, driving my 1972 Toyota Hiace by the name of Elmer.
You've got some great names for things, I have to just point it out. Beautiful.
Took a wrong turn, ended up on this rough as guts track, can't turn around, just keep going. We pop out on this patch of green where there's this blue painted wagon wheel windowed mud brick cottage. It's a home for a wild woman, and a wild woman steps out and she goes, "You's lost." We're like, "Kia ora, I'm so sorry, we're turning around." She goes, "Oh, you's Kiwis." I'm like, "Yeah?" She goes, "Oh, I just put the kettle on, you better come in, eh?" And that was the start of my relationship with Auntie Lena.
Oh.
We stayed a month the first time. So Auntie Lena is a wild woman who happened on my path, or who my path led me to, who I had the pleasure of knowing for a decade. She's recently returned to stars, which makes me emotional. And she introduced me to ukulele. And for a long, long time, I never picked it up. I played it with her, and then I just focused on band stuff and vocal stuff, and I never picked it up. And then when I returned home and kind of reconnected with my stories and with Auntie Lena, I decided, okay, I'm going to go back to uke. And I'm glad I did. And the kind of christening of this ukulele, I got to play it to her when I said goodbye to her. And she said to me, "Make sure you take me with you in all your songs." And so I said, "I will." And so that's why she's called Auntie Lena.
Oh, what a beautiful story, and what a stunning tribute to a beautiful person.
Most exceptional person.
That is gorgeous. Oh man, you have such a penchant for storytelling. You can tell from that story alone. And I know that you've worked changing tack slightly as a children's entertainer telling
Yes,
stories.
so we were just saying, how did you find this out?
I have my ways. So the Miss
Sneaky.
Amelia entertaining children character, I guess you could say. Was it your character? Would that be the word that you
Yeah,
used?
she is a bit of a character. She's definitely she's sort of another version of me, I guess.
I love it.
Yeah.
And tell us about how that came to be and what you sort of learned from your time entertaining children and how it's inspired the solo works you're doing now.
Well, I was a children's entertainer for many years. I had a little business in kids entertainment in Melbourne for about 6 years. And I originally studied theatre here in Wellington, and I studied by correspondence to be a speech and drama tutor. So that's sort of what I always thought I was going to do, teach children drama and do that kind of stuff. And then in Melbourne, I went down this path of early learning education, creative education, through music and storytelling for very young children. And turns out I was quite good at it.
Worked into a full-on business. Amazing.
So, man, if there's anything I learned so much from working with children and from entertaining children. I learned a complete drop of ego, which is so important as a performer in any way. You can't have ego with kids. It's not possible. You will fail. So I very much learned to completely drop ego, to drop expectation. I learned a lot about improvisation. I learned a lot about the dynamics of storytelling to engage. I mean, to engage a group of 3-year-olds for an hour in storytelling is a huge feat, and you have to have a lot of dynamic. You have to be fully in that story, and you have to be able to connect with your child's self, I think, which is where dropping the ego really comes in, I think. The more you can connect with your child's self and be excited about the story that you're telling, the more involved those little ones are going to be with you. So I still am in that body of work in some way, though it's paused while I'm focusing on this at the moment. But it's been one of those sort of bodies of work or combination of skills that has culminated in what I'm doing now, because the things that I've built from working with children have come into my ability to tell story, to release the fear, to release the ego, to be authentic in how I'm telling story, no matter what age group my audience might be. It's taught me a lot. I could go on forever.
I can imagine that really touches on the sort of symbiosis concepts that we were chatting about between audience and, there's no harsher critic than a bunch of 3-year-olds, I would argue.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Amazing. And I really think that shines in your performance as well. And speaking of performance, how about we have another track?
Let's do it.
Wonderful. What have we got coming up next?
This is a song it's called Ki Te Awa, and it's for all of the rivers that have ever held me.
Beautiful.
Lead me to the river, baby, steady as she goes, collecting and discarding the river flows. I pulled apart the pieces, searching for me, scared to continue. The result might be like blood under skin, unalterable. Collecting and discarding the river flows. The river does not alter, baby. It's water, earth, and stone. But change direction, steady as she goes. Steady but always changing, the river flows. And loving you is all there was to it. So lead me to the river, baby, swift and steady in its resolve. And if your hands don't open wide enough, I'll find some other hands to hold. Collecting and discarding, the river flows. And loving you was all there was to it. Kite awa karataki ahau. Kite awa karataki ahau.
Absolutely beautiful. For those of you just joining us, we have the wonderful Millie Moon in studio today for the Active Live. And that was just gorgeous. Is that part of the Walking Songs?
That is part of Walking Songs. Yeah.
Wonderful. And huge congratulations on taking this Fringe show all the way to the arguably the mecca of Fringe, Edinburgh.
Yeah. Yeah, Edinburgh. I've got to practice saying Edinburgh, not Edinburgh.
I've made that mistake before, I understand.
The Scots are going to kill me.
Oh man, it's so exciting though. Is it your first time over there in general, but also at the Edinburgh Fringe?
Yeah, it'll be my first time UK Europe, which is kind of crazy. Mid-30s and I still haven't gone over there, but we're doing it. I have walked the length of New Zealand, so that's okay.
You've done a lot of travel, I'd say. You've done more walking than most people.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm super stoked to be a part of it. The calibre of music and talent and theatre and everything there is just exceptional. So more than anything, I'm just excited to go see lots of shows.
Oh my gosh, yes. There's going to be so many amazing performances over there.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people looking to take their show to Edinburgh? Because it's no small, again, let's talking about no small feats. No small feat taking it all the way over to
I'd say don't do it alone. It's a lot. I mean, I'm loving it. It's again, this word expansive keeps coming up. It's very expansive for me to take on this thing completely by myself. But it is a lot. It's a lot to do just as one person, every aspect of putting on a show overseas. Yeah. Fringe are great. Like there's a lot of resources and support there. But I mean, I don't know, like I'd say to anyone doing anything exciting, just do it. That's my advice. Do it.
The whole feel the fear and do it anyway,
feel the
right?
fear and do it anyway, yes.
Oh, amazing. Honestly, congratulations on that. That is going to be such an amazing performance. And I wish that we could be there. But you are playing tonight at Garage Project's Wild Workshop, is that right?
Well, I'm doing Ales and Tales,
Okay,
which
cool.
is part of this development that I was talking about. So I'm sitting down, I'll buy you a beer or a flight. They do these cute little flights of beers. And you sit with me and I tell you one of the stories and we record the audio of me telling the story from Walking Songs. You can choose a theme that you might be interested in, be it naming or home or finding intimacy with fear. And you can be a part of kind of a collaborative process of creating these recordings.
Gosh, that is beautiful. I really appreciate your, intentions behind creating community and all the art that you put out into the world. That's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Awesome. What is your favourite thing about performing live, whether it be at things like Ales and Tales or the Walking Songs show?
I think it's the immediacy. There's, unlike I've worked, a little bit in film and things like that, you get take after take. When you're live, when you're talking to someone or performing with someone, there's this like immediacy. There's this nowness, And I think it's where I feel most connected to what I'm doing. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And again, that touches on the symbiosis you feel with
Yes,
your audience, right?
exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's only one audience that will be that group of people.
And it's now, and them reacting to what you're doing and how you're feeling now and how your performance is now because of them. And yeah. It is very much a symbiosis.
It's a beautiful cycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'm so excited about these. For my last question tonight, what do you hope people take away from your Walking Songs show?
I hope they see themselves. Yeah. I hope they see themselves reflected back at them and know that all of the experiences that we have that feel too big and very alone are actually really connected.
That's absolutely beautiful. What a stunning sentiment to leave us with, Millie. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So lovely having you here. I think we can cheekily have time for one more.
Cheekily? Okay.
I reckon.
Let's do it.
What's our final song today?
It's my favourite, actually, so I'm glad.
Wonderful.
It's called Woman Blue, and it's a song for owning your own name.
Oh, beautiful. And just quickly before we go, we can find your Indiegogo and the details for anyone getting tickets to things on your Instagram, is that right?
Absolutely, and Facebook and all the things.
Wonderful. Go and check this out. And thank you so much for being here, Millie.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely to have you here.
She's been walking from sunrise on a rock and river mountain pass. Her body's tired, her feet resigned, their step to reach her camp at last. Cloaked in sunset, skin is cleaned by a river's hands, and here she meets a woman, painted blue as sky, silence for smile and tears for eyes. What's your story? And how does your name carry who you are? The woman blue replies, it's you, it's moon, it's rain, it's stars. So long to waiting out the storm. Turn your face to thunder, maiden mother crone. So long to waiting for the new unknown. Answer to your hunger, maiden mother crone. She turns her gaze up to the night as woman asks, and what of you? Are you named for who you are, for who you were, or what you do? Cloaked in darkness, skin is raised by hands of wind in cool embrace. And it's here she whispers to the night, to a name she'd loved goodbye. Voices raising, feet to the earth, beating out her heart. In freedom till the morning comes, she and the woman dance. So long to waiting out the storm. Turn your face to thunder, maiden mother crone. So long to waiting for the new unknown. Answer to your hunger, maiden mother crone. She sleeps in peace at dawn's approach, while woman blue slips her a note. Into her traveling bag it reads, who you are is what you'll be. So long to naming all your broken bones. Answer to your hunger, go and walk alone. She's been walking from sunrise on a rock and river mountain pass. Her hands touch paper, finds the note, the words of which herself she wrote. Start your story as often as you're moved to do. Now as she walks, she sings her names, Mother, Maiden, Crone, and Woman Blue. So long to waiting out the storm. Turn your face to thunder, Maiden, Mother, Crone. So long to naming all your broken bones. Answer to your hunger, Maiden, Mother, Crone. Turn your heart to wonder. Your name is your own.
Active Live. Friday, 3:30. Every week a new band. In studio. Brought to you by NZ On Air.